It's Nomad, back with another one. And election results are in. Donald Trump is your new president. And I know some people will take this in news and really be hurt by it. I mean, for a person like me, where I don't think that the representation of a country, especially America, means anything anymore, as I don't think that the president runs the country. It's usually the lobbyists or like the people behind the scenes. It's like will quickly and gladly showcase the richest people in America or the world or whatever. Meanwhile, the people that own the magazine is probably the one paying them their pockets, employing them. But I digress. Yeah, people like Elon Musk, you could say he's his own man, right? But for the most part, a lot of those people on the list are usually glorified employees. Maybe they've built partnerships where they own some stuff, but they're pretty much employees. It's the people that own what those people do that's the real rich people, right? But why would you put yourself in public eye? Because then you'll have the magnifying glass on you, and then you'll be at risk of public scrutiny if you do anything wrong. So it's best to be out of the limelight, per se. But I bring up the election results because, as I said, there's going to probably be a lot of people who's really down by that information. So I want to take this moment to actually talk about something that has affected me for a long time. And I hate to say the word because I do agree with certain people with it's not a way of life, it's a phase. But I almost can argue that because it's been a way of life for me for a long time. And that's depression. Depression, it's very hard to explain depression to a person that hasn't gone through it more than a couple of days or even a week. Or after those are valid situations, so I'm not going to say that. But it's kind of hard to explain to somebody that doesn't understand that a lot of times you don't even know what you're depressed for. You know the possible reasons or causes, but you really don't know what you're depressed for. Sometimes just getting up out of bed, sometimes you just ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why do I need to live today? Not like you'll do anything about it, but you'll just ask yourself that. You start to lose that sense of belonging and, camaraderie with just yourself and your life, much less other people. It's something that it's a fight. It's a fight. And I always tell people, it's like, imagine being in a courtroom, but the courtroom is in your mind, right? Imagine being in a courtroom. You are both the defendant and the prosecutor. And the prosecutor has relentless energy and can find evidence forever. And time is your only witness in the case. And your defendant is a public defendant. So it's not even someone who's really dedicated to your case. Even though you have reasons to back up why and validate and all this stuff, the prosecutor will consistently be like, yeah, well, you did this, you did that, you did the third. And it's a constant battle. It's always going on in your head when you're waking up, when you're hanging out with friends, when you're working. That battle is going on in your head. That courtroom is on live replay over and over and over again, bringing up things that has nothing to do with the situation. But because it happened yesterday, you can now somehow tie that situation to a decision or a result that happened to you in the past. You know what I mean? Depression is something that I just can't explain unless you've been in it. Some people say it's like fighting a shadow. Some people say it's like carrying an invisible book bag filled with rocks. Whatever analogy resonates with you as a person who hasn't been through depression, that's what it feels like. I can tell you I've been in the sunken place, as they like to say, for a long time. I made a decision that I didn't even know was possible at the time. And that decision just resulted in years of just me beating myself up. And you really think about those things day in and day out, especially for someone, I'm an ENTP. So if you know anything about the Myers-Briggs test, you know that's a very over-analytical person. So I replay that situation over and over, and I'm just like, yo, what could have I done better or anything? And there really is nothing I could have done better in that situation, but at the same time, that doesn't change the result. And I will say time does heal a lot of wounds. A lot of people say all. I've not lived long enough to answer that question, but I think it just makes it easier to deal with. Not like it's really clearing the situation or finding a solution, but that's really it. You're just trying to look for the solution. It's like trying to create a puzzle. You don't have all the pieces, but you're trying to make it work anyway. It's a real dark thing. It really is. It sucks, to be honest with you. Because the outside world is not going to know what you're going through. And then when you try to explain it to them, they're going to be like, really? That's it? There's people in Africa that can't eat and you dealing with that? It's not that simple. And something like this election results, a lot of people will look at a certain demographic. I personally think in this case, it will be women that look like me. That sounded bad. I guess no Diddy in that situation. Let's rephrase that. It'll be a lot of black women. We'll look at this situation and think that the next 4 years is going to be complete chaos. I don't know the future. I don't know the intent of anybody that is in power, but I can rest assured that ain't nothing going to happen. It's going to be the same for Americas. They're just going to find reasons in the media, if you still watch it, to play on your pressure points, your pain points, and make you think that it's going to be the worst hell. If anything, I was watching PBD last night, and if anything, I think that the media should be grateful because now they have 4 years of content for people to keep their ratings high again. Because when he was president before, I don't know a day that the words Donald Trump was not said. I don't know a day. I can't tell you. My aunt watches CNN religiously, MSNBC religiously. And I can tell you, I don't know a day that she didn't have that man's real estate in her head. He knows what he's doing, whether people like it or not. He will have you talking about him from sun up to sundown. And people won't even give him the acknowledgement of that. They just think the fact that they hate this man so much that it validates why they're able to have so much ammo for a man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, he's done wrong, but so is a lot of people, especially in politics. And what's funny is before he ran for president, he was one of the most loved men in America. So I just think it's interesting to look at psychology. And black women is going to be affected by this the most because, well, unfortunately, in sales and marketing, you sell to the man, but you market to the woman. That's just how it is. I'm pretty sure if Amazon had analytical data, they would say that their highest sellers are women. Not in terms of the cost, but in terms of quantity. How many times they're pushing that buy button. You market to women, you sell to men. In real estate, we knew the man was gonna buy, and I'm not saying this in all cases, obviously life isn't perfect, but for the most part, you knew that if the man didn't give the okay, the house wasn't gonna be sold. But you also knew that the wife would have the final say when they go back home. So if the wife didn't like the house, you already knew it was a definite no. You already knew it was a definite no. 9 times out of 10, you greet the guy, say hello to the wife, show him around the house, and then you paint the picture to the wife. You say, hey, this is the kids' room. You can paint it. You can have, luxurious stuff, whatever the case may be. But then when it came down to the offer, you talked to the husband. Then the husband would then go back home. The wife would chew his ear out about why the house is good or why it's bad. And then he will then come to a decision heavily weighted based on the wife, and then come back to you and say, hey, we can do it, but if we can go to this offer, I'm down. And obviously, you would need a pre-approval, so it would have to be within the limits of that pre-approval. So that's what the news and the media does today. And because, well, if we're keeping it honest, minority women, specifically black women, are the ones who kind of have the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to society in America. They're gonna feel it the worst. I know the women in my family feel like Hitler was just born again. I don't get it. I don't know. I'm not sure. But it is what it is. And that's something that can bring you to a state of depression. It's something that will be temporary. It's something that will be, because at the end of the day, he's only president for 4 years. So even if the depression lasts his whole term, after he comes out of the presidency, depression's gone, right? So at least maybe those people will understand it, hopefully not. What a person who's truly going through something that either they did or they have went through or experienced, or some kind of traumatic event that just keeps replaying over and over in their head. That's something that can't change, because you can't change the past. That's not external, that's internal. When it's internal depression, it's just an insane, it's a burden that you just carry around, and you don't know what to do. You really don't even want to get up out of bed. Sometimes you don't take care of yourself. I went through a period where I was doing that. I wasn't taking care of myself. I think I had a stroke at 27. I just wasn't taking care of myself, Was I 27, 29? I don't know. I think it was the year before. Yeah, it was 27. Shit. You just get to a point where you don't care. Then you start having internal thoughts about, well, why continue? Sometimes you may even go through to the point where you almost act upon it. Been there. Again, I'm just telling you my experience, my journey, my life, in a sense, my experience. It's something that's just very hard to explain. But with these results, I just want you to know that everything will be okay. Ain't nothing gonna change. And the funny thing is, you already have a sample size of 4 years to know what it might be like, because he was already president. So you already know what you're possibly going to get with this man. So it's not a real reason to sit there and dwell and be in depression. But when you have internal struggle, that's something I don't wish on nobody. And what I learned is it could also be biochemical. So it's something that's just in you and you can't even control that. It's genetic to a certain degree. It's not in your genes, but biochemical is just another way of saying it's genetic. So I want to leave you with that and just let you know everything's gonna be okay. You just build one brick at a time, and sooner or later, you will see the reaps of that wall skyrise. And because that wall is skyrising, you'll feel accomplished by what you've done. I'm telling you, I haven't felt more purpose, more driven than solo traveling. This is why I'm an advocate for solo travel. None of this matters when you are abroad and you are by yourself. You know why? Because when you're by yourself, first of all, you don't have those pressures of society telling you what to do, this, that, and the third, because you're too damn worried about your safety. You're too damn worried about your safety. And then because your safety's at play, you now have to take more control and more action to make sure that you're safe. But then because you're in a new environment, you want to experience everything. So you experience everything with safety in the back of your mind. That way, you know how to be more responsible for something that actually means something, your safety. And then because of that, you're living. For real, you're not just existing, you're living. Solo travel is the best way to overcome those obstacles. I'm telling you right now, the best way. Because slowly but surely, I've just felt better about myself, just being in different places by myself, meeting a bunch of new people. I just met up with somebody I met in Thailand a week ago. He was here on vacation because he wanted to see, NASA, and he also wanted to visit New York. So he came here. We kind of chilled. Went to a bar, showed him around some of the spots that I've been to. I haven't been to a bar in years. Well, not really, that's figuratively speaking, but it's been a long time. Plus, I was in Asia for a minute. So I haven't even been here for a while. And it was cool, and that's a friendship that, is gonna blossom because he's not in my face all the time. We talk to each other when we want, we open up that book, and we just continue right where the bookmark left off. Like, just things are just feeling better. And again, I have had highs, I've had more lows. This could just be a high moment, but I don't think so. It just feels different, And I think solo travel, if you are in a depressed state, I can't sit in there and say anything more. I don't care if you're a woman or a man. You know what I mean? If you're a woman, you'll probably have more fun than a man would. I'll tell you the truth. Go solo travel. Go by yourself. Pick a place that you've never been, that you've always wanted to see, and just take a couple grand and just say, fuck it, I'm going to go for a month. I'm telling you, it's the most exhilarating thing. Even if it's a week, even if it's a weekend, go. Even if it's just 4 hours away, go. You won't regret it. You really won't. It's your boy, Chris Jack. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm the Canvas Nomad here. And if you made it this far in the video, you, my friend, are appreciated. Peace.